That is Bob Dylan, 900 Miles from My Home. Um, that's the only good song I can think of right now. I'm not a hardcore music enthusiast. What to do in that situation? I just come up with something good to kind of get us in the mood here. As I'm just coming up with different ideas for a Maya Sunday. I start to run out of content after a while. There's so much going on with politics, with video games and movies. The Garfield movie wasn't didn't get great reviews. It's not the thing that ranked very well. I don't know what Amaya's kind of movies are. Uh, I'm sure she likes the ones like where Steven Seagal would rip out arms and legs and blood would come out. I'm sure she loves those movies. I'm sure she likes the violent movies where the eyeballs get gouged out. I'm sure she loves those. But tonight, I think we'll just do for this Sunday. We're just gonna do something simple. I've got model glossary, a model glossary of terminology and things. What is a model? How do you define a model? What makes a model? Right? What is a model all about? Why does it matter? So these are just terminology. Uh, if you were studying to be a model in a classroom, it's uh, it's stuff you would know, right? Like police lingo, like what is like a 215 is shots fired, right? Um, TO is training officer, right? Uh, PO I think is probation officer. There's a lot of abbreviations, so there's a lot of things in it. So we're looking at a glossary tonight, and we'll use some images to kind of illustrate. We'll put some royalty-free music on, and we'll get this going. So this is from modelmanagement.com modeling. So this is the model glossary. Common model terms to help your career as a model. I want to say, lastly, one of the things that I like about Amiah is that she doesn't live in the model environment. She visits it. Modeling is a nice place to visit, but you don't want to live there. I think that's her philosophy, and I like it. Booker. A booker is someone who works in a model agency and keeps track of which clients hire which models. Book out. A book out is a notification to your agent that you're not available for a casting or job for either professional or personal reasons. You are not available at this time. The clients cannot book you during that time. You have booked out. Buyouts. This is the payment for the use of model pictures. Often this is negotiated on top of the day rate, and sometimes it's included. The type of use must be set: poster, advertisements, internet, TV, etc., as well as the runtime and the countries. Call time. The time at which a model must be at the location and ready to work. Callback. Recall. After the first casting, a callback or recall is held to narrow down the selection process. It is not unusual to get a callback before getting a job or being turned down. Casting. Castings are notices of modeling jobs which are made to models, casting agencies, or on modeling websites. The show details of the types of models required for an upcoming production. This could mean a call where every model can apply or a date on which pre-selected models introduce themselves to the client, who will then make the final decision. The client sets the requirements and makes his or her choice. All right, no music this time. I'm going to have to tough it out here. Casting agency. Casting agencies are agencies specialized in finding talented people for different fields like modeling, singing, acting, dancing, and others. They work similarly to scouts. They search for prospective persons that could participate in different kinds of projects like TV, photo, video, advertisement, casting, and others. Usually the models in a casting agency don't have an exclusive contract and can work for different agencies. Casting detail sheet is an information sheet for the model which contains all important information about a casting, call time, direction, client, etc. That's a casting detail sheet. Catwalk or runway. Catwalk or runway describes a narrow, usually elevated platform that runs into an auditorium used by models to demonstrate clothing and accessories during a fashion show. Close-up. In film, television, or photography, a close-up tightly frames a person or an object. Close-ups are one of the standard shots used regularly along with medium shots and long shots. Composite card, also referred to as a comp card, SED card, Z card, or model business card. A composite card is a piece of card which is printed with at least 2 photos of you in various poses, settings, outfits, and looks, the widest variety possible. It includes your name, your contact information, usually your agency's info, and all your stats. Comp cards come in lots of different formats, depending on the city, agency, and the type of model you are. Agencies will usually issue comp cards for you after they sign you. A composite card serves as the latest and best of a model's portfolio and are used as a business card. Contests. A contest in this case refers mostly to a model contest. This is an event in which models engage in competition against each other, often for a prize or similar incentive. Model management runs its own international Fresh Faces contest annually. Copyright. Copyright is the set of exclusive rights granted to the author or creator of an original work, including the right to copy, distribute, and adapt the work. These rights can be licensed, transferred, and/or assigned. Cover shooting. A photo shooting for a cover of a magazine. Depending on the magazine, it has great significance for the awareness of the model. Cuttings. Documented releases of a model in magazines, catalogs, or other medias. Editorial. Photographs made to illustrate a story or idea within the context of a magazine. They are usually assigned by the magazine. Fitting. The session that takes place before the photo shoot where the clothes to be modeled are fit onto the model. Based on the model's particulars, the clothes are usually altered to fit. When you go to a fitting, be prepared to stand out partially clothed all day long in front of several people. These people will usually be stylists, seamstresses, and designers. The fitting is often included in the day rate. Go and see. A model's appointment to see a potential client, to present his book or her book, to present herself in person, and to leave a good impression. Often a client keeps the models in mind for her next shoot job. Hairstylist. A hairstylist is someone who cuts and styles hair. He or she often offers other services such as coloring and hair extensions. He or she cares for the perfect hairstyle of the model at the shooting, runway show, or event. Headsheet. A poster displaying headshots and information about models represented by a modeling agency. Lingerie. Lingerie is the word used for alluring undergarments. Location. Any place where a shoot, photography, or film takes place. When you are on location, it means you are outside the controlled environment of the studio or soundstage and should prepare accordingly. Makeup artist. The makeup artist, or we call it MUA, M-U-A, is an artist whose medium is the human body, applying makeup and prosthetics for theatrical, television, film, fashion, magazines, and other similar productions, including all aspects of the modeling industry. Model agency. A model agency is a company that represents fashion models to work for the fashion industry. These agencies earn their income via commission, usually from the deal they make with the model or the client. The model agency presents the models to the clients, promotes them to foreign agencies, and is in charge of the model's chart, book, portfolio, buyouts, travel, etc. Model release. A legal document provided by the client or photographer and signed by the model or agent. It gives permission to the photographer to use photographs taken at a particular setting. If photographs are used without a release or in a way different from what is stated in the release, then the model can sue for breach of contract. New faces. New faces or newcomers are models who are new into business. They are just starting their career and usually don't have a professional book done. Plus size. Yes, I picked your brother. It was either a picture of your brother or your mom. I was not going to select your mom. I was not about to do that. Okay. I think Jackson can handle this. Okay. So anyway, plus size model is a term applied to a person who is engaged primarily in modeling plus size clothing. Plus size models also engaged in work that is not strictly related to selling large size clothing, e.g. stock photography and advertising photography for cosmetics, household, and pharmaceutical products and sunglasses, footwear, and watches. Therefore, plus size models do not exclusively wear garments marketed as plus size clothing. This is especially true when participating in fashion editorials for mainstream fashion magazines. Polaroid. Polaroid photos is a special type of photos that are used in modeling business. Polaroids are usually needed for agencies or scouts to see the natural look of the model. This is something every model needs in their portfolio if they intend to be serious in this business. Model management offers professional Polaroids for new models who require them or for professionals who need up-to-date Polaroids. Prints. Prints are printed negatives, the real photos. Okay, okay, now I'm going to catch hell for this. Senior model. A senior model is a professional model in his or her 40s, 50s, and 60s. As the average age is constantly raising, the advertisements go back more and more to older models to approach their target group. A senior model often has a good look as they can show a lot of experience, or after easily being booked for ads, they get publications from the beginning on. Set. This is where the action of the shoot takes place, usually within a professional studio or within a location. It includes all the elements which makes the shoot, for example, the lighting, camera, art direction, and art-directed scenery. Shooting. Shooting in general means the implementation of photo or film shoots. Stock photos. Stock photography is the supply of photographs licensed for specific uses. It is used to fulfill the needs of creative assignments instead of hiring a photographer. Today, stock images are usually presented in searchable online databases where they are then purchased and delivered online. Often they are produced in studios using a wide variety of models, posing as professional stereotypes, expressing stereotypical emotions and gesticulations, or involving pets. Stylist. The stylist is in charge of the outfit of the model and discussing at length with the photographer or director about the theme of the shoot. Tear sheet. Sometimes written, the tear sheet is a term used by advertising agencies to denote a page cut or torn from a publication to prove to the client that the advertisement was published. Media buying agencies are often required by clients to provide tear sheets along with the post-analysis of any advertising campaign. Test shooting, or TFP, it's an agreement between the model and the photographer to whereby they work for each other, and they work for each other on a mutually beneficial basis. No fees other than sharing film and developing expenses are involved. They work together on a new idea or on their portfolios. The photographer provides a selection of prints from the shoot in recognition of the model's time and commitment. And lastly, this is usage. Models get paid for each different medium to which their photograph is used. These different mediums or usages may include consumer magazines, trade magazines, product packaging, print ads, bus ads, subway ads, billboards, magazine covers, direct mail, magazine editorials, posters, catalogs, brochures, point of purchase or point of sale, POP, annual reports, book covers, kiosk, Duratrans, those big portable billboards that are towed around behind trucks, newspapers, etc. The model receives an additional fee for each usage the client buys. Usages are also according to time and region. The longer the ad runs and the more markets in which it appears, all drive up the model's fee. The largest usage is the unlimited time usage, worldwide buyout. That means the client can plaster the photograph across every city in the world in every possible usage until the end of time. Would be so lucky. I mean, also too, like Amiah Miller has private domain. I think private domain is going to be a thing one day where it's not public domain and it's not an IP because Amiah is a living person. So if somebody wanted to use her likeness, let's say she gets to be 50, okay, which is women don't want to admit to being 50, but okay. So you get somebody that kind of looks like Amiah if you put in prosthesis or CGI, then that you would allow your face to be used. Even if it's on a younger person, you just kind of style their face to be a certain way. You get the permission, you get a little bit of money, and that's how they're used. So even if you can't go back to being 20 again, at least somebody can actually kind of do that, and then maybe you would provide the voice. I've shown examples of that before, but whether it's augmented reality, virtual reality, or the examples I showed for the usage, that's how you make money forever. You know, it's how you become that public domain. You're becoming your own intellectual property. There'll be more terms in the future as technology goes on. All right, let's wrap up this with an article I found. Or are we in for a treat here? The mutant wildlife adapting to New York City. So, what is that? What is that thing? I would like to close that, please, so I can read the fucking article. That looks like something Desert Pagoda might like. What is that? Yeah. In the 400 years since the New York City's birth, the local wildlife has adapted to a life of fast food, pollution, and isolation. Amiah might know what's going on here if you see these weird lizards showing up. Planet of the Lizards. At a top secret location in Manhattan, within a large public park, is a tiny patch of moist hillside. Flecked with the shade from a grove of young maple oak, black cherry trees, the area is bordered by a busy road and sits just across from the street from a school. And yet, stalking the slopes, meadows of moss and wildflowers, lounging across decaying logs and fallen leaves, is a population of New York City's most obscure inhabitants. This is predator territory, and here lives a killer so rare and little known, only a handful of New York City's 8 million or so residents have ever seen one. They will eat anything they can stuff into their mouths. They'll eat each other, says Ellen Pahek. Pahek, a retired ecologist who spent 21 years working for the New York City Parks and Recreation National Resources Group. With strong, crushing jaws and thick legs, these hunters have a muscular, almost reptilian physique that evokes Komodo dragons. If they were 6 feet, 1.8 meters long, we'd be running from them, she says. The hunters in question are northern dusky salamanders, and they easily fit into the palm of a hand. Though they are rarely seen or thought of, even by park officials, according to Payheck, they are thought to have been living in this very spot for the best part of a century. As New York City has grown up around them, the little amphibians have continued to eke out a living on an area of land significantly smaller than the footprint of any of the iconic skyscrapers now found on a short distance away. I would say the hill, is maybe 75 yards across and maybe 40 yards high, says Eric Bard, chair and executive director of Harbor Lab, an environmental education organization that gives free kayaking tours of New York City. New York City is famous for its worldly subway riding pigeons and Epicurean rats. Amiah loves the pigeons, such as Pizza Rat, who went viral for hauling a large slice of margarita pizza down a flight of stairs on the subway. I don't want to go near rats. But there are less familiar urbanites to be found too, ones which were in residence long before Western civilization showed up. Coyotes routinely visit Central Park, where precious orchids bloom in the ground. Comb jellies pulse through the East River under Manhattan Bridge, and each spring from Brooklyn to Queens, the prehistoric tank-like horseshoe crabs haul themselves up into beaches to mate and lay their eggs. Though some of these organisms are continuing life as normal, it would be impossible to remain unaffected by the approximately 1 million structures to have popped up over the last 400 years, or the bustle of a cultural and economic metropolis. In fact, New York City's native wildlife is evolving and fast. Some species have diverged so much they have unique physical and genetic characteristics. So these are the things here. Oh, Carl Gantz went for a walk. Oh, he was on his way to. So he stumbled upon these dusky salamanders, but they were in a public park in a major city and they were thriving. So these things will eat you alive. I want to see Amiah feed these things. That's what I want to see. So there's more to this article, and you can look it up. It's on BBC. So yeah, that's pretty scary. All right, I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm sure you're fine. I'm sure New York City's in good hands of the salamanders.